Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A graphic designer is claiming he was refused a job at a country house hotel simply because he was a Christian. Jamie Haxby applied for the position at Prested Hall Hotel near Colchester to assist with the hotel's marketing and promotion. He claims one of the interviewers told him she could never work with a committed Christian and apologised for wasting his time. But Mr. Haxby said that his religion shouldn't stop him from being considered for the job. He's since written to the hotel to try and resolve the dispute, but his approaches were dismissed and the matter is now heading for an employment tribunal. Mike Judge of the Christian Institute has described the hotel's handling of Mr. Haxby as brazen discrimination.
Well, this really is an astonishing case. We've certainly seen cases of discrimination against Christians before, but usually it's involved something like the wearing of a cross in the workplace. This is the first time that we've actually seen a Christian turned down for a job simply for being a Christian. And I think it's important that people understand discrimination law applies not only to the outcome of a job interview, but the actual process of the job interview itself.
Police are to investigate a retired GP who has admitted assisting the suicide of a number of his patients, including a woman who was not ill. Dr Ian Kerr, who practised on the outskirts of Glasgow, has confessed to supplying an elderly couple with sleeping tablets so they could kill themselves. He also visited another man while an overdose took effect. Dr Kerr claimed his actions were in the best interests of the patient, but Dr Callum McKellar, a bioethics expert, is highly concerned. He said healthcare professionals should never believe that a life is unworthy of life. Once an individual or society as a whole begins to believe that some persons are unworthy of life, then the equality in value and in worth of every human life is rejected, an equality that is the very basis of a civilised and compassionate society. Meanwhile, patients as young as 16 could soon be able to register their wish for assisted suicide under controversial proposals to be brought before the Scottish Parliament. The details came to light when independent MSP Margot MacDonald outlined details of her revised assisted suicide bill at a patients' conference in Glasgow. The MSP for Lothian also spoke of the need to train facilitators to help patients take their own lives. But Councillor Jeremy Balfour of the Scottish Council of Bioethics challenged Miss MacDonald over the apparent loss of dignity she claims is suffered by patients with terminal illness. He said dignity was inherent and could not be lost even when the body is in decline. The new Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, has been in the news again after being accused just last week of wavering over the Church's position on gay marriage. In an interview for the BBC, the Archbishop gave a much clearer lead on the issue, affirming the Church of England's traditional teaching on sex and marriage.
The Church of England holds very firmly and continues to hold to the view that marriage is a lifelong union of one man to one woman. At the same time, at the heart of our understanding of what it is to be human is the essential dignity of the human being. And so we have to be very clear about homophobia. There's a very big difference between the ideals that we hold to and that are essential to hold to, and also pastoral practice. In pastoral practice, you work with people as they are, as you hope they'll work with you as you are yourself. It's about loving people as they are and where they are. And you will find that in every church, and you find that because it imitates the practice and the character of Jesus himself.
Meanwhile, a 700-year-old Church of England chapel inside the grounds of Parliament is under threat of becoming a multi-faith area so that same-sex weddings could take place there if marriage is redefined. Gay MP Chris Bryant proposed the redesignation of the St Mary Undercroft Chapel during a committee meeting of members looking into the same-sex couples bill. The chapel is a royal peculiar and is therefore subject to the Queen rather than a bishop. So Mr Bryant has suggested that Equalities Minister Helen Grant write to the Queen to seek her permission. The House of Commons chaplain Reverend Rose Hudson-Wilkin has criticised the proposal, saying there is already a space on the parliamentary estate where people of other faiths have access. The chapel is the chapel. The Human Fertility and Embryology Authority has advised the government to move forward with a technique that would create babies with 2 genetic mothers and 1 genetic father. Supporters claim the 3-parent embryo technique could eliminate mitochondrial disease, a genetic condition passed from mother to child. but a group of leading genetics and bioethics professionals have written to The Guardian saying the benefit for a relatively small number of women of being genetically related to their child does not nearly justify the potential health risks to the child. And another group of scientists and ethicists warned in the Times that the proposals would open the door to further genetic alterations of human beings with unforeseeable consequences. And finally, Christians have been remembering the life of Scottish missionary and explorer David Livingstone, as this week marked 200 years since his birth. Dr Livingstone went to Africa as a medical missionary in 1840. He wanted to reach new peoples in the interior of Africa and introduce them to Christianity, as well as free them from slavery. Much of his work as a missionary and a doctor was in what is now Malawi. The current bishop of southern Malawi, the Right Reverend James Tenga, said Dr Livingstone was different to other missionaries of his day because of the respect he showed for the indigenous cultures and languages. He said that many Christians in Malawi trace their faith in some part back to the missionary. Bishop Tenga said the story of his church is not complete without giving David Livingstone a place or role in it, adding, "I can't tell the story of my faith without telling the story of David Livingstone." Well, that's all for this week. For more information and regular updates on all of our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.